going back to the start of this series, I removed the nut from the Shite Paul. Now this was just a cheap plastic nut and it was far too low, the strings were just running along the frets. So I removed that, and my initial idea was going to be bring in a bone nut, and I was going to cut another nut from scratch out of bone. But then I reasoned that's just too much effort and just too good for the Shite Paul. I don't want to spend that amount of time and effort on a good bone nut just to put it into the Shite Paul. But then I upgraded my white Ibanez to have some decent passive pickups rather than actives, and I realised it has a plastic nut which is exactly the right size and height and shape for the Shite Paul. So it would make much more sense if I was to cut a bone nut for the Ibanez, which I'm going to use in a guitar that I like, and take the old plastic nut, which is the correct height and the correct shape, put that on the Shite Paul. So that saves me a bit of work here. Of course I still have to cut the nut for the Ibanez when I come around to doing that. My camera's squeaking. It's getting to the end of the tape. Oh no! Oh no! Ah! Well, after my previous tape ran out, I went ahead and did this. Installed the nut here and put the strings on the guitar. So there we are. And it plays. We'll get a couple of sound samples in a minute. But that's the new nut on place and it works just fine. Also coming down here, I've got the whole thing going on with the pickups and with the good old scratch plate, so it's looking pretty good. One thing I did notice was that corroded switch. Listen to this. It was intermittent after all. If I keep toggling this, I'll eventually get it working that bottom position. There we go. So that switch needs replaced. I did buy another one. It cost me £8, which is a bit expensive for a switch really when you think about it. And I still need to get some control knobs for here because the guitar shop only had Fender ones, so I'm going to have to order them online or something. This is the new switch that I've bought. It was £8. It's not a particularly good quality switch, I don't think, but it does have a very satisfying click as it moves between positions. So third time lucky with this switch. Hopefully this one, being brand new, won't have any problems. Also, it luckily enough came with a little plastic top, which the other ones didn't have. Of course now I've got strings on here, it makes the guitar a little bit more difficult to lie down on its front. But we'll just have to cope with that as we take this back panel off yet again. There's always sort of problems when you do this, putting guitars together from parts. It's a lot easier just to build a guitar from scratch. And that one. I made a mess of my shielding. You know what, doesn't matter. I'm sure it'll be fine without it. Red, blue, yellow! Oh, I'll remember it this time, certainly. There we go. Corroded switch. New switch. Let's get to this. Because it's a new switch, I'm just tinning all the connections to make sure there is solder on them before I start. That'll make things a lot easier. It'll also make it easier if I had an additional hand. Tell you, we need 3 hands. It's all over the place, man. It's pure all over the place. After a lot of cursing and swearing with that fucking blue wire, I've got the switch wired up again. So let's get this in, hopefully it's the right way round. I think red was at the bottom. Who knows, we'll see in a second. Ah, buggery fuck. It moved. There we go, that's better. Down up, down up. Let's amp this thing up and see what's going on. Did I get this right? Did I get this right? Did I get this right? We're all good. It's working now, so. Excellent. Ha! That's why I wear this ring. One thing I have to do before I can do any sound samples is put the new truss rod cover onto the Shite Paul. This, I just made it out of a little bit of alder I had lying about and some extra shell, so it's like a plectrum with my C logo in it. I just thought, just to tart up the Shite Paul, make it look a little bit better than the shiteness that it is. So I'm going to screw that onto it. That will be the little finishing touch. I know I've not got the knobs and stuff just yet to actually properly finish the Shite Paul, but this will be to say, hey, I've done the job and most of it is now done. That's the shiny new truss cover installed. So that near enough completes what the Shite Paul is. Just a couple more things like the control knobs there, and my control plate for the back isn't quite the same shape as the routed space, so I need to cut a little bit extra from the wood to make my new cover fit. But hey, small things. We'll get a proper look at the Shite Paul when it is all done and dusted, but for right now, I know you want to hear how it sounds. I want to hear how it sounds. Shall we do this thing?